Hello my dear students, welcome back to this class. I hope all of you are fine. I hope you have enjoyed watching last week's video on Kalpana Chawla. That's a beautiful documentary and it was both informative and entertaining. I do think that you might have got inspired by watching that documentary on Kalpana Chawla. And I even have asked you some questions in my last class and I hope you are ready with answers. I don't know whether you are ready with your answers or not. Here are my answers and I want you to understand all of them. And let's get started without any ado. So this is our lesson, an Indian American woman in space. Who is that? That is none other than Kalpana Chawla. Let's get started. Let's answer some questions. So what is a space shuttle? A space shuttle is a spacecraft which is used for traveling in space, that is made for repeated space travel between Earth and a space station. I bet you don't understand anything. Have a look at this. This is a space shuttle. It's traveling in the space. As you can see, it is traveling in the space. And this space shuttle is actually a spacecraft. What is a spacecraft? Spacecraft is a vehicle used for traveling in space. Just like how we use bus to travel from one place to another place on the road. Just like that, to travel in the space, we use these space shuttles. These are good for traveling many times. These space shuttles are good for traveling many times. These will travel from Earth to a space station in the space. I hope you have got some idea about that. So let's move on now. So how do these rockets work? And what is a rocket? Have a good look at that picture there. And a rocket, in its simplest form, we can understand. It is a chamber with a gas under pressure. A rocket is simply a chamber. What will be there in the chamber? With gas under pressure. The gas that is kept in the chamber will be under certain pressure. And what happens, a small opening at the end of the chamber allows the gas to escape. When the gas escapes from that opening of the chamber, this chamber goes up. That means when it does, it propels the chamber forward. It might be difficult for you. Let me give you an example. Take a balloon. Blow air into that balloon. When you tie it, it is okay. So I want you to untie that and leave a small opening. The air escapes from that opening, and as the air escapes from that opening, the balloon goes up. So imagine a rocket in the place of balloon. That's it. That's it. Rocket, sometimes it can also mean a type of engine. How do rockets work? A rocket moves forward when gas is shooting out the back of the rocket. So from the back of the rocket, the gas ejects and rocket goes up in the sky. It can also be a vehicle that uses the engine. So you can call a rocket engine, or sometimes you can call the structure which carries the engine, which uses the engine also, rocket. So the engine itself is called rocket, and the vehicle that uses engine is also called rocket. Okay, let's move on. So what is meant by takeoff and what is meant by liftoff? You can see the pictures over there very clearly. So when an aeroplane takes off, it leaves the ground and starts flying. You can look at there. Liftoff. What is meant by liftoff? The upward movement from the ground by a rocket or helicopter or space vehicles as it begins flight. So simply vertical takeoff. All of a sudden, the aeroplane does not fly in the sky. It leaves the ground slowly and then it starts flying. But here, liftoff means it directly leaves the ground. Simply vertical takeoff. You can simply believe that. Vertical takeoff. It simply leaves the ground and goes up. And whatever the pad that you see over there in the second picture, that is what we call launch pad. So launch pad is a place where the rocket or the space shuttle gets launched, and that moment is called liftoff. Okay, so this is takeoff and that is liftoff. I hope you have understood that. Let's move on. Who is an astronaut? An astronaut is a person trained to command, pilot, or serve as a crew member of a spacecraft. So these astronauts travel in a spacecraft to the space, and they do conduct some experiments in the space, and they are allowed to command, and they are even allowed to pilot, or they serve as a crew member. So what is meant by a crew? Crew means a group of people who work closely together. They are called crew, and you can see an astronaut photo there. Let's move on. I'm going to show you a news report here. This is a news report, and I want you to read that news report completely and answer the questions that are given here. Read the newspaper report to find the following facts about the Columbia's ill-fated voyage. So let's read this. Tragedy in space. US Space Shuttle Columbia breaks into flames. Let me read this. In an unprecedented space tragedy, US Space Shuttle Columbia, carrying Indian-born American astronaut Kalpana Chawla and 6 others, broke apart in flames as it streaked over Texas towards its landing strip on Saturday, 1st February 2003, killing all 7 on board. The shuttle lost contact with NASA at about 9 a.m. 1930 hours Indian Standard Time as it came in for landing. It was flying at an altitude of over 200,000 feet and traveling at over 20,000 kilometers per hour when ground control lost contact with the shuttle. Columbia had lifted off on 16 January 2003 from the Kennedy Space Center, Florida. It had stayed in orbit for 16 days and 7-member crew conducted 80 experiments before it began its downward journey, which ended in tragedy. This was Columbia's 28th space flight, and the shuttle was said to be good for 100 flights. So unprecedented means something that had never happened before. So this is an unprecedented tragedy because people died. So that's why it is a tragedy. US Space Shuttle Columbia. The space shuttle name is Columbia, and it was carrying 6 astronauts and Kalpana Chawla. Indian-born American astronaut Kalpana Chawla and 6 others. What happened to the space shuttle? It broke apart in flames as it streaked over Texas towards its landing strip on Saturday, 1st February 2003, killing all 7 on board. Whoever is there in that space shuttle at that time, they all died, including Kalpana Chawla. The space shuttle lost its contact with NASA at about 9 a.m. What happened, It was flying at an altitude of over 200,000 feet. It was only 200,000 feet away from the ground, and it is traveling at the speed of 20,000 kilometers per hour when it lost control. Columbia, it had lifted off. When did it lift off? It had lifted off on 16 January 2003. And when did it started to return? 1st February 2003. And 7 members were there. And they conducted 80 experiments. And this was Columbia's 28th space flight. And the shuttle was said to be good enough for 100 flights. So this space shuttle, whatever is destroyed, Columbia, is good for 100 more flights, it seems. But we don't know how it had happened. But it was such a Grief. So let's answer these questions now. Date and place of liftoff. So here you can see Columbia had lifted off on 16 January 2003 from Kennedy Space Center, Florida. That is the answer. Next. Number of astronauts on board. How many members were there on board? 7, obviously. We all know that. Number of days it stayed in space. So how many days did they stay in the space? 16 days. 16 days. Number of experiments done by the scientists, you can see here, 80 experiments. Date of return journey, we can see here, 1st February 2003. Height at which it lost contact. At what height? Altitude means height. So at what height did it lose contact with the NASA? 200,000 feet. I want you to write all these answers in your textbook. The exercise is given in your textbook. Let's move on. Let's learn about Kalpana Chawla. Kalpana Chawla was born on March 17, 1962 in Karnal in Haryana. In the state of Haryana, in Karnal, on March 17th, Kalpana Chawla was born. The name Kalpana means idea or imagination. And I happen to know that Kalpana chose her name herself, it seems. She chose Kalpana. As a child, Kalpana was fascinated by aeroplanes and flying. Since her childhood, she was greatly fascinated by aeroplanes and flying. Whenever the teachers of her class asked to draw a scenery, she would always draw aeroplanes flying in the sky. That's how she is. How much interest she has, we can know from that one incident. Her mind is always filled with those thoughts, aeroplanes flying in the sky. Kalpana was always among the top 5 students of the class. She was always a hard-working person, and she always stood in the top 5 in the class. About her education. She graduated from Tagore School, Karnal, India in 1976. Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering from Punjab Engineering College, India in 1982. She completed her Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering from Punjab Engineering College in India in 1982. And she did not stop there. She wanted to do masters. So she went to America to do masters. And there she did Masters of Science in Aerospace Engineering from University of Texas in the year 1984. She got doctorate of philosophy in Aerospace Engineering from University of Colorado in the year 1988. She completed her graduation. After that masters, after that PhD. She even did her PhD in aerospace engineering. This is what she has to tell all of us. I really never ever thought while pursuing my studies or doing anything else that I was a woman or a person from a small city or a different country. I pretty much had my dreams like anyone else, and I followed them. And people who were around me, fortunately, always encouraged me and said, if that's what you want to do, carry on. Kalpana, in her own words, she's telling, I never ever thought that while pursuing her studies or doing anything else that she was a woman or a person from a small city or from a different country. She had her dreams just like anyone else, and she simply followed them. There is a great message hidden in these lines of Kalpana for all of us. It doesn't matter whether you are a girl, woman. It doesn't matter whether you are born in a small city, or it doesn't matter whether you are from a different country. All these things do not matter when you have determination, when you have dreams, and you can follow those dreams. So, whatever the dreams that you have, my dear children, you might have big dreams. Dream big, just like how Abdul Kalam advised all of us, dream big. It doesn't matter how big your dream is, you are going to make that dream true, that dream come true with your hard work. That is going to happen. So, always dream big. That's what Kalpana tells here to all of us. The people who are around her always encouraged her to do what she wants to do. They always encouraged her, carry on, they said. In 1983, Kalpana tied the knot with Jean Perry Harrison, a flying instructor. In 1983, Kalpana married Jean Perry Harrison. He is a flying instructor. After becoming a naturalized US citizen in April 1991, Chawla applied for the NASA Astronaut Corporation. The NASA Astronaut Corporation is a unit of the United States National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which is NASA, that selects, trains, and provides astronauts as crew members for US and international space missions. After completing her postgraduate, she was not satisfied and she wanted to become an astronaut, and she applied for the same. She had become an US citizen. She had become a naturalized US citizen. She got the citizenship of United States of America, and after that she applied for NASA Astronaut Corporation. So this corporation selects, trains, and provides astronauts as crew members for international space missions. In the year 1994, she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut. That was a great success for her. So her first space mission. Kalpana's first space mission in the Space Shuttle Columbia was 15 days, 16 hours and 34 minutes long. During this time, she went around the Earth 252 times, traveling 10.45 million kilometers. The crew included a Japanese and a Ukrainian astronaut. The crew performed experiments such as pollinating plants to observe food growth in the space, and they also carried out tests for making stronger metals and faster computer chips, all for a price tag of about $56 million. That's a huge money, my dear kids. So spending that much huge money, they went on a space mission, and in that mission they stayed in the space for 15 days, 16 hours and 34 minutes. And so during this time, Kalpana and the crew went around the earth for 252 times. Can you believe that? She went around the earth for 252 times in that 15 days. And she traveled 10.45 million kilometers. I hope you know 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. So she traveled 10.45 million kilometers. And in the crew there was a Japanese and there was a Ukrainian astronaut. They performed various experiments observing the food growth in the space, and they even carried out tests for making stronger metals, and they even carried out tests for faster computer chips. That is Kalpana Chawla. Here is a message from Kalpana when she was in the space. She sent a message from abroad, the Space Shuttle Columbia, to the students of her college in Chandigarh. She studied there and she sent a message from space. When she was in space, she sent this message to the students of college in Chandigarh. What was her message? The path from dreams to success does exist. May you have the vision to find it, the courage to get on to it. Wishing you a great journey. So she has this beautiful message for all of us. The path from dreams to success does exist. There is a way from your dreams to the success. So you need to have a vision to find it, and you need to have courage to get onto it. So the journey will not be easy, but you have to get on to that. I wish you have a great journey. So it doesn't matter what your dream is. My dear students, all of you dream big and have big aims, goals in your life. And you are going to achieve each and every one of your goals. You are going to make all your dreams come true. Your dreams turn into success one day. There is a way for that. All you need to do is to find that way, and you need to have a lot of courage. You work hard and be courageous, have determination, and you are going to succeed in your life. It doesn't matter what your dream is, it is going to come true. On that Saturday night when she is supposed to land on the earth, what happened, you know? The news broke out. The news of Columbia disaster, it broke. There was shock and disbelief. The people of Colonel and the people of India and the people at NASA, they all spent sleepless nights. They all hoped that somehow or the other Kalpana and the crew would survive. But unfortunately, that did not happen. That fateful day, 1st February 2003, on that day, when she is supposed to land, what happened? Kalpana Chawla and other crew members died because the space shuttle was blasted. Before it landed on the earth, it blasted and all the crew members died. This incident left everybody in great grief and sorrow. Not only the people from Colonel, not only the people from India, not only the people from NASA, everyone felt so sad about that incident. She is a successful astronaut. There is a lot for all of us to learn from her life. Let's get inspired by people like her, and let's make all our dreams come true with determination, hard work, and perseverance. On that note, I take leave from all of you. We'll meet you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.